New year, new year. Hey friends, Jill here and welcome back to the Market Vibe. I am so happy to be back. That break that we took was amazing and life-giving, but I am so excited to dive back in with you guys, all things business, marketing, and all the social media things. So if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications on our future videos. Today's video is super special and absolutely one of a kind because today I'm going to be telling you and sharing with you what it looks like to create content for 2 years straight. And this is a little bit of our journey that I wanted to share with you guys and give you sort of the strategy that we went with and the results that we got, and just really show you what you can have after being consistent for a very long period of time. So with that, let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about is what this created for us. So we have been posting on all types of social media for literally 2 years straight. Our first break we just took in December of 2021. We took like a 2-week break and it was glorious and amazing. Hashtag self-care, it's a real thing, guys, you need it. What we've created is this amazing wave of social media presence and SEO that we couldn't have even, predicted would happen. And what's really come from this is, so many blessings just from being consistent for a very long time. The first thing is the Market Vibe and what you're seeing right now. And being a top digital marketing agency is something way more than we ever dreamed of. And sometimes I have to pinch myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been dreaming about this forever. And we freaking did it. And showing that consistency, it shows our clients like we know what we're talking about, we love what we do, and we know a lot about the current environment. We're always studying, we're always learning, and we know what it looks like to play the long game and to do things that are great for the short term. Number two, and this is probably the most crazy one that I still, again, have to pinch myself, is that I was able to leave my job at 31. And Michael left his job last year and he's 37. And now we are full-time doing what we want in our business. We have so much more free time, so much more control over our money. That has literally been a dream of ours since we got married 6 years ago. For it to actually happen because of us being consistent is a direct result is just so mind-blowing to me. And I literally look back on the times when I was like not wanting to post or not wanting to do anything. And thank God I pushed through and I did it because we wouldn't have the life that we have today without it. We wake up every day, we do what we love, we make our own schedule, we work with incredible companies who have just the best missions. It's just so amazing that that is our life. I still can't get over it. The main thing that this really created with us being consistent and posting social media content for 2 years is when we were first starting out, our competition wasn't doing the same thing. They were taking breaks, they were posting inconsistently, and eventually over time they either fizzled out. We've always been like top of the page over our competitors. And I think that's one thing that like Michael was really passionate about, that I totally understood the vision and I was like, yeah, let's go for it. While people were taking a break, we were still posting, we were still showing up, we were still consistent. We were on these platforms like Instagram, but we were also really creating quite the foundation of SEO for these other platforms as well. This is what it can create for you if you're consistent, if you follow through. You're probably wondering like, okay, what was your strategy? What were you doing? Where were you posting? What were you creating? Don't worry, I'm going to get into all of that. But when we first started, we started with one platform. And for us, that was Instagram. It just made the most sense for the time, but we just went all in on Instagram. Once we figured out that strategy, the audience, and then we expanded to a bunch of different platforms in this order, which I wouldn't particularly recommend, but this is just what worked for us. After Instagram, then we started creating a blog, got consistent over there. Then we started creating on LinkedIn because the growth potential over there is just ridiculous. It's just so easy to grow if you're consistent. So then we started building our LinkedIn, which is also an SEO platform, so we knew it would be good for our Google ranking. Then we started creating on TikTok because we knew TikTok was new, it was up and coming, we needed to get on it, we needed to understand the platform, and we grew to 100K in a month. And that was just an insanely wild time, and I am so grateful for that time of that foundation that we built because it really catapulted us to the next level. From there, that really helped us because Michael was able to leave his job and work with me full time. So then we went all in on Pinterest and we really started creating content, and it's a fantastic platform for your SEO. So for showing up on Google or Bing or any kind of search engine. It's really incredible for your website score. Let's go in on Pinterest, and then that also has led to YouTube, where we are right now. We needed to do all of these other platforms to get the foundation of our social media strong, ready to go, before we could go really full-time into these more demanding platforms like Pinterest and YouTube. If you are starting like brand new, fresh, and you're not sure where to start, I would definitely probably start with Instagram, because that's a great place to grow an audience, to meet your community, to build up that personal brand. I would definitely be starting a blog and a Pinterest, then move over into YouTube, then move over into TikTok, and then LinkedIn. But that's probably what I would do in that order. Would be so much better, and we kind of went all over the place. But you know what? Your journey's your journey, and sometimes you take detours and you learn the hard way. So this is for you, your gift of the new year of not doing what I did. So let me break down that strategy a little bit more. If you're like, okay, I want to get started, I want to create a really good social blueprint where I'm showing up everywhere, let me break this down a little bit more. So like I said, Instagram is a great place to start because it's a great hub. You know, there's kind of a little bit of everything there. It's just a really great place for you to let your personal brand shine, to show how much you do know and how you can help people. Then I would move over to a blog, because a blog is going to just be so important for your website. It's going to help you show up higher in the Google algorithm, and it's going to help people find you, and utilizing keywords is really important. So I think a blog is definitely something that you need just to help your website rank a little bit higher. Then next I said Pinterest, because Pinterest is an incredible platform, not only because you're sending a ton of links back to your website, but also Pinterest has the longest shelf life of any kind of content, which is about 4 months per piece of content. So if you think about posting something like Instagram, it's literally like a day. That's how long the shelf life is, which is why you have to keep creating constantly. With Pinterest, it has about a 4-month shelf life. So if you post something, you can get potential reach and links back to your website for up to 4 months. Then I would say YouTube, because again, YouTube is an SEO platform, you know, managed by Google themselves. Second highest shelf life of content as well. So YouTube is fantastic if you have the time to dedicate, because that's really important. Is consistency is really where you're going to win on YouTube, because that's more of the long game. So just make sure that whatever you commit to, you actually stick to it. Then I mentioned TikTok. TikTok is a great place because it is one of the places where you can get virality the fastest. It can take off super fast, and it could literally be anything. You just kind of never know what it's going to pick up. You can definitely see where trends are happening, but it's a great place for you to build community, for people to discover you. But like I said, it's a great place for getting that virality to happen the fastest, for sure. And then LinkedIn, which I said I think is great for business connections, and it's great for your SEO. Not really your main platform, but it's a great one to have in there. Now I know this seems like a ton of work and a ton of places to be posting content, but once you figure out your strategy for each one, it actually makes it a lot easier to create content and to be consistent. But to do that, you really have to come up with a system. So it's just figuring out, you know, what content is going where, when you're creating it, when you're writing your captions, are you scheduling it, which I highly recommend scheduling your content, because there's no way I could have been consistent doing this day by day. Life happens, stuff happens. Sometimes your day looks different. Sometimes you have a family emergency. Sometimes you have things that derail you. And it's just not really logical to be posting for that long and not scheduling. Planoly is my absolute favorite scheduling tool. I love it because you can see the grid on the side. You can see what your content's gonna look like. They're always coming out with new innovative ways to schedule. You can check it out below. But the reason you really create content everywhere is so that it gives your audience the potential to find you literally anywhere. And it builds a ton of trust too. If you are consistent, and what I mean by consistent is if you're the same person, platform to platform to platform, that just builds trust. It shows that you're a real person, that you really know what you're talking about. People feel like they can listen to you and they could potentially do business with you. It really helps you to diversify. I know you're probably wondering like, okay, cool, but when did you notice a shift? Like, when did things start happening? That's what everybody always wants to know is, okay, well, you started doing this, but like, when did things start happening for you? Honestly, it kind of took a while. Like, of course, building anything from scratch takes a while, especially if you're doing it organically. It definitely takes a bit longer than, you know, the paid route, which there's nothing wrong with the paid route, but I know a lot of people do not have the income to run ads. This is more if you're wanting to do it organically and maybe supplement with ads like down the road. For us, we barely saw any engagement within the first 3 months. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of like consistently engaging constantly on the platforms. We were engaging constantly, building up that community. And I'd say, yeah, it took for us, it was about 3 months to get things going, to start to see things, start to happen. What shifted for us was when we started, collaborating and doing lives, getting on other people's podcasts, asking to talk, getting our first couple clients. That's when things started to definitely pick up a little bit. For us, 2022 was actually a shift because that was when we started getting even more clients than we had before. The community was booming, people were loving our content, and that was when we knew, we were like, okay, great, like Instagram is doing well, it's time to start building these other platforms and really figuring out how we can make our presence known on every single platform. So that's when we made the shift, started building the LinkedIn. And then for us, 2020 was all about TikTok. That's when we discovered TikTok. We discovered like the virality that we could have over there and really just dove headfirst into building that TikTok profile. And it's crazy because then the TikTok really helped us just explode on all of these other platforms. So we brought our TikToks to Instagram, we exploded even more. We brought our TikToks to Pinterest and that blew up. And then we started bringing them to YouTube, and then it was helping us even more. So TikTok was a really pivotal role because everybody was getting into short form video content. And then we decided to, start posting it everywhere. And then we saw just massive growth from there. So don't be afraid, if you see a trend, to start putting it on different platforms, because guaranteed it's going to do well, because all these platforms are in competition. And as of right now, short form video is the name of the game in the competition. So if you can bring that everywhere, it's gonna help your numbers so much more. And after TikTok in 2021 is really when things took a huge boom for us. And you could see with our body of work that we knew what we were talking about. That's what the consistency of 2 years really created for us. It helped build real authority. And also, not to mention, this was our third business. So we've been in business for a long time. Been on social media for a long time, and so it really established that authority. So it allowed us to speak on places like Clubhouse for huge stages. We traveled a ton to meet people who are in our field, and then we were even asked to speak at a few conferences, which was so incredibly amazing and a huge honor, huge, check off my bucket list. But that's what it really did for us, is it established us as, a role model in the community and in our industry, and experts, and people were really starting to listen to us. And then our following grew like crazy. We grew 4,000 followers in a month, and it was insane. We went over 10K on Instagram, which we'd been working on for years. And it was just amazing to see all of that pop off. So a lot of times when you're building, it can feel like the growth is small, but you really have to put in that foundation first to show hey, I'm an expert. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been talking about this for years. For people to really understand okay, this person really knows what they're talking about. They've been here forever. And you never know when growth is gonna happen. A lot of times you can't predict it. You just have to be ready for it. And for us, we've been building this for, almost a year and a half, and then we finally popped off. So you never know when that moment is gonna happen, but you just have to keep going and believe that it will, because it will. And you're probably wondering why we had this idea to be consistent for that long. Well, like I said, with this being our third business, we knew that there needed to be more value on the internet. We knew that we wanted to serve people, to really give people the tools and the actual strategy to help, them do what they wanted to do. And we knew that, consistency adds up over time. If you've ever read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, he talks about that. Small little wins every day add up to something huge. We're consistently posting on our social media every single day. It's gonna add up to a massive social blueprint, a massive foundation that Google can't ignore us because of the foundation that we created. And we just knew that it was smart business-wise, that we would eventually prove that we know what we're talking about when it comes to marketing, when it comes to social strategy, and we wanted to be respected in the digital marketing space. And that's exactly what we did. We said, this is what we know, this is how we do it, here you go, here's the proof, it's all in the pudding. So it really just changed business for us. And I think we earned a lot of respect along the way. And that's something that comes with consistency. If you can be consistent for that long, people will look at you and be like, dang, they are hardcore, this person is real, the real deal. So consistency is a nice little tool that you can have that can gain you some serious brownie points. And yeah, here we are 2.5 years later with a business that is booming, that Michael and I are full-time in. Our social is growing. We're now finally on YouTube. We're doing the things that we love, and it's honestly because we've been this consistent. And I would not change a thing about it. Now, I know it can sound intimidating to be consistent for this long, and it feels like a huge mountain to climb, and you literally just have to take one little step every day. And you're probably wondering, like, how did we balance it all? Well, the first thing we did was we figured out a strategy for everything. We figured out exactly what we wanted to do. We did this by figuring out the education that we wanted to teach, like what were the topics we wanted to teach, what was our personal brand that we wanted to convey, and we figured out that it's us as a working couple together. That was the thing that was, at the core of our personal brand and the problems we wanted to solve. Once we defined that, from there we were able to develop, how many times we're posting on what platform, what's the type of content, what are our batch days, and really putting that into our schedule so that we knew, okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are our days when we're scheduling content, we're filming, we're doing captions, and everything is done by Saturday for the following week. Having that has been a game changer, because then we're not living in the day-to-day, and then those other days we can work on business growth, we can have, marriage and date time, and time for us, time for family, and then time for expansion. But the schedule is where it really helped us to actually be consistent and to not go insane along the way. And the main goal of all of this is for you to figure out what social platforms make the most sense for you and your business. Once you figure that out, you just have to figure out what type of content you're posting, how frequent, figure out a strategy around that, and then a scheduling system, and then you're off, and then I would go. But the main thing is really understanding where your ideal audience is and making sure that you have a presence on that platform. So that's everything. That is our journey of being consistent on social media for 2.5 years. This journey has just been so incredible, and I'm filming this right around the new year. And we've been reflecting a ton on this year, and the amount of growth and abundance we've seen in this year has been because of the foundation that we laid, and being consistent and doing what we had to do even when we weren't even seeing results. If you're in that stage, just let me tell you, I feel for you. I know what that feels like, and it is so worth it. So please, please, please do not give up and keep going. I hope this was helpful for you. If you need help with your social media or your marketing strategy, you can absolutely reach out to us, because we offer digital marketing services like social media, launch, email, text, all of those fun things through the Market Vibe. Feel free to DM us, and we'd be happy to chat with you on how we can help. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye, friends.